Shitcoins as a job. So picture this. You wake up, check deck screener, jump into a fresh meme coin, 3x your entry, and then you cash out before your coffee gets cold. Sounds wild, right? Well, welcome to the world of shitcoin flipping, where chaos meets opportunity. And yes, some people are turning it into a full-time gig. But behind every I turned $500 into $50,000 success, there's a story about graveyards and rugs and honeypots and, well, straight up dumpster fires. Welcome back to another episode of JRNY TV. My name is Nick, and this is where we cut through the hype and break down what actually is happening in crypto. Today, we are diving deep into the booming trend of flipping shitcoins as a job. We're going to talk about how people are doing it, the insane risks that are involved, and what you actually need to make this a real long-term hustle. It's not for everyone, but if you've got the guts, the grind, and a solid game plan, it may just be your edge in the next bull cycle. In the next section, we're going to talk about why everyone is jumping into the memecoin trenches and how to avoid becoming just another casualty. Why everyone wants in on the shitcoin gold rush. Let's be real. Shitcoins, also known as meme coins, are the wildest part of crypto. They are risky, they are hilarious, and they are definitely as chaotic gets. And sometimes they're ridiculously profitable. Everyone from TikTok traders to seasoned degen whales is watching for the next 10 million to 100 million market cap breakout, hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. Why? It's simple. Because unlike traditional coins, shitcoins can go from 10x or even 100x overnight if the hype hits just right. All it takes is the right meme, the right timing, and a massive wave of social media buzz. But that's also what makes this space so dangerous. For every single success story like Troll or Fartcoin, there are thousands of tokens that have launched and died in the same exact day. Some are slow rugs, some are blatant scams, some just never even catch the momentum that they need to survive. Either way, if you go in blind, you are very likely to end up as exit liquidity. And that's why traders who do this full time, they treat it like a real business. They're not guessing. They're tracking trends, they're watching charts, they're following influencers, they're monitoring Telegram Alpha, and they're studying the liquidity like hawks. So if you're drawn to the thrill of chasing the meme coins or the shit coins, just know it's not a game, it's a war zone. And to survive, you better be armed with a lot more than just hope. In the next section, we're going to break down the risk-reward dynamic and how to protect yourself while aiming for those massive gains. That risk versus reward in shitcoin flipping. Flipping shitcoins can look like easy money, but the reality is, it's more like walking on a tightrope over fire. The reward is unequivocally undeniable. One good trade can definitely change your entire portfolio. Just look at the people who threw $500 into Troll or Pepe early, and then they walked away with 6 or even 7 figures. Big but. For every moonshot, there are countless rugs, slow bleeds, or liquidity traps that wipe you out just as fast. That is the double-edged sword of this game. The truth is, this hype of trading isn't for everyone. One more time. The truth is, this type of trading is not for everyone. And that's okay. This is extremely high risk and demands constant, everyday attention. You're not just buying a coin. You're buying into a fleeting moment of internet culture. Timing is everything. If you enter late, even by 20 minutes, you could be the exit liquidity of someone who bought before you. And if you don't have a strategy, you are just gambling. You're not trading. That's why serious meme coin traders, they treat this like a job. They research volume patterns, they analyze wallet movements, they use tools like deck screener to catch new listings early, and they track community sentiment across Telegram and X or Twitter. The faster you are, the more that you're gonna win. But without risk management, even the fastest traders, they can get burned. How to turn shitcoin flipping into a real strategy. If you're serious about flipping shitcoins as more than just a lucky gamble, you need to start treating it like a full-time hustle. That means crafting a strategy, testing it relentlessly, and refining it over time, numerous times. Be sure to start with small amounts, seriously small amounts, until you've proven to yourself that your calls are more right than wrong. You're not just trying to hit a home run once, you're trying to consistently hit singles and avoid striking out. So, a solid approach, it begins with identifying early signals. New token launches on platforms like Pump.Fun, weirdly active Telegram groups, sudden surges in DEX volume, or maybe fresh wallet activity from known insiders. Get fast. Speed matters in every part of this game. Be sure to utilize tools like Deck Screener, Gecko Terminal, and most importantly, Archer, which helps you move across Solana pairs fast. Crucial when seconds can make or break a trade. Then comes testing. Log your trades, track what worked and didn't. Was it the meme? Was it the timing? Was it the community hype? Maybe it was your ability to catch the first wave. Once you start spotting the patterns, you're going to begin to develop your own edge. And that is where things will begin to shift from gambling to calculated chaos. And you do not have to do this alone. A community like Trade Hero is exactly where traders share new launches, flag rugs early, and they break down which narratives are popping. Having eyes on the ground in real time gives you alpha and a serious edge. Next, we're going to dive into best practices around taking profits and how to avoid bag holding dead coins. Oh, and what mindset you're going to need to survive long-term in the shitcoin trenches. Take profits or get wrecked. This may be the single most important part of your shitcoin journey, taking profits. It's very easy to get caught up in the hype or the euphoria, watching your bag go from 5x to 10x, or even thinking it'll go to 100x or more. But here's the truth. Meme coins die fast, like same day type fast. And if you're not pulling out your initial investment early, you're probably going to get stuck holding a worthless bag when the music stops. A simple rule that seasoned traders always follow is always take out your initial investment as soon as you're up 2x or 3x. That way, even if the coin crashes, you're playing with house money. You can stay in for the moonshot, but your risk is now 0. And if the coin actually does pump further, well, you win bigger without the stress. Some traders also ladder out of positions, meaning they sell a chunk as the price climbs. For example, take out 25% when you're up 3x, another 25% if it hits 5x, and so on. That way, you're locking in the gains while still having exposure if the meme keeps flying. Remember, nobody ever went broke taking profits, and there's no perfect exit strategy. Sometimes you're gonna sell early, sometimes you're gonna ride a pump and watch it vanish. That's part of the game. The key is consistency. Protect the capital, build small wins over time, and never ever let your greed cloud your judgment. In the next section, we're gonna go over how to avoid the biggest traps, rugs, honeypots, and coins that just don't have legs. Most meme coins die in hours, move fast, or miss out. Here is the cold hard truth. The vast majority of shitcoins never even see the light of day past their launch. Some last a week, a few hang around for months, but most, well, they're gone within hours, sometimes even minutes. And that's because these projects are often launched purely for hype, with no roadmap and no utility, and sometimes no intention of surviving beyond the initial pump. If you want to survive in this space, speed is everything. You need to be in the trenches, watching new token trackers, Discord call channels, and social media in real time. Tools like Deck Screener and Archer aren't just nice to have. They are your lifeline. The earlier you catch a coin with momentum, the better your odds of hitting that 2x, 5x, or even 10x before the inevitable sell-off begins. But moving fast doesn't mean aping into every shiny chart that you see. You still need to vet the project, check for locked liquidity, make sure the contract isn't a honeypot, and gauge early community engagement. This is where experience and instinct start to play a role. And you'll get better at spotting red flags the more that you trade, but until then, keep your risks small and your exits tight. Up next, we're gonna wrap up everything by talking about how to turn flipping shitcoins into a full-blown income stream, the mindset you need, and why consistency is your best friend in the market that's anything but consistent. Turning chaos into consistent gains. At the end of the day, flipping those good old shitcoins isn't about luck. It is about strategy, discipline, and the very willingness to keep learning even after you've taken a hit or a loss. The traders who make this a full-blown gig don't just ape blindly and hope for the best. They track those trends, they stay plugged into the right communities, and they also move with precision when the opportunity strikes. If you treat this like a job, it can pay like one. And that means putting in the hours, building a playbook that works for you, and stacking it, even when your emotions are running high. It also means taking profits early and often, protecting your capital so you can keep playing the game tomorrow. And in a space where most tokens vanish in hours, capital preservation is just as important as chasing those gains. Communities like Trade Hero give you an edge. With constant market eyes, real-time alpha, and proven strategies from traders who have been through multiple cycles. Pair that with tools like Archer for lightning-fast trades, and you'll put yourself miles ahead of every average newcomer blindly chasing pumps. So if you're ready to dive in head first, start small, stay consistent, and never stop refining your edge. The meme coin market, it may be a little chaotic, but for those who are prepared to handle it, chaos is exactly where the biggest money is made. This is JRNY TV. As always, stay early, stay informed, and remember, the future belongs to those who start preparing for it today. We will catch you in the next one.